Hi there. This is Alyssa Prettyman for alyssayoga.com. This video is for your TFL and your IT band, and it's a great release for the side seam of the leg, particularly for my walkers, my runners, my hikers, people with tight hips. When we have tight hips, we tend to focus kind of on the booty when we stretch and when we roll and when we self-massage, but don't underestimate the influence of the tissues on the side seam of your leg. So the ball that I'm going to work with today is an alpha ball. You can get it on my website. The link is buy balls at the top of alyssayoga.com. I like it because it's bigger than a tennis ball. This is kind of the tennis ball size massage tool that we use. And it gives you a little bit more clearance from the wall, which means it's a little bit easier for you to move. Okay, so I'm going to use the alpha ball, but if all you have today is a tennis ball, then that's fine. I'm going to scoot the camera over a little bit so I don't lose my head. Okay, there we go. So the first place that you're going to put the ball is on your TFL. Your TFL is a little muscle right up at the kind of top outer thigh. If you think about where you would slide your hands if you're putting your hands in your jean pockets, right? They're not going to be right on the front, they're out to the side. And there's a little mound of a muscle out here. It's also kind of just below your hip crease. So if you want to find your hip crease, bend your knee. Okay, that's where my hip crease is. And then I'm going to put my hand just below that and over to the side. So take your ball, whatever massage tool you have, tennis ball is fine. You'll just feel like a little bit more of you is rubbing up on the wall. And I'm going to place the ball on the wall and I'm going to lean some body weight into it. So I have my other leg is relatively strong and stable, the outside leg. The inside leg is a little bit soft on the floor. You see, I could almost lift it because I'm leaning a good amount of body weight into it. How much body weight you lean into it is going to depend on how much sensation you have. You can't breathe fully and smoothly. You're going to back off a little bit. So how do we move on the ball? Well, let's start by just dragging it side to side, left to right. So I'm going to lean on the wall. Might even put my hands on the wall for support. And I'm just going to turn a little bit. And see how that feels. I can also lift and lower my heels, and I can go up and down. Or I could put those things together and I could draw a circle. And when you draw a circle in this little zone, it's going to look like you're having a dance party with the wall. And I recommend that you just own that. And so I'm going to make about 3 or 4 circles in one direction and then pause and go in the other direction. Now, there's not a ton of fleshy tissue here. You can feel that, it gets a little bit bony, perhaps a little bit off to the side of this. So I want you to manage pressure accordingly. If you push deep, I want you to go super, super slow and make sure that you're taking steady, smooth breaths. Okay, so we circled in one direction and we circled in the other. Now I want you to drag this ball out onto the side seam of your leg. I'm going to keep coming in and going back out. And we're going to use the wall to kind of pluck the IT band front to back and slowly make our way down the leg, acting like we're a door on a hinge. I'll show you what I mean. I'll just adjust my lighting a little bit here. There we go. So I'm going to come out to the side seam of my leg. I'll start kind of just below that hip crease area. So if you need to redraw that line on yourself and just start a little bit lower, I'm going to lean onto the wall. And then like the ball is a hinge and I'm a door, I'm going to swing open and swing closed. Again, the outside leg is firm, stable, and the inside leg, I can take off as much weight as I want, depending on how much pressure I want. I can use the wall for support with my inside arm. And all I'm doing is pulling front to back, front to back. I do that 3 or 4 times, and then I go down an inch. So give yourself like a minute and a half to work down the full outside seam of your leg. And I love this one because it's different than just using a foam roller to drive up and down the IT band. It's almost like ironing it back down against the tissues of your body. This is a little bit, I feel, more of a sophisticated technique. Being mindful of pressure, plucking front to back, going down every few strokes here. And it's okay if the ball travels a little bit more into the front of you towards your quads, a little bit more into the back of you towards your hamstrings. So you really feel that this technique liberates the side seam of the leg, perhaps more efficiently or more completely than just using full body weight on a foam roller going up and down. We should be getting pretty close to that zone just above the knee. And as you go down the leg, you might notice it's getting a little bit more sensitive in certain areas. Always check in with the breath as an indicator of whether or not the pressure you're using is appropriate. All right, I'm going to do 1 or 2 more zones here because we're going to try to keep this video relatively short because I know some of us are just trying to sneak away for a couple minutes and not get interrupted by other people or work or callings in our life. It can be kind of hard to get a self-care practice in at home these days. I feel you. All right. Let's switch to the other side. Ooh, that feels good. Maybe walk around a little bit. How's that leg feel? Very nice. All right, so let's find the other TFL. Remember, you can find your hip crease by just bending the knee and lifting the thigh forward. Put your hand right in that crease, all right? That's a little bit too high. But if I put my hand just below that and over to the left, that's the zone that my TFL is in. Put a ball on it, lean up against the wall. Start to get to know the zone by going side to side. Oh, so nice. Not a big deal if you pull a little bit more into the side and a little bit more into the front. And once you've gone side to side a few times, just start to lift and lower the heels. And if you feel coordinated enough to put that together, some days I do, some days I don't, you can start to draw a circle on the wall. Get to know your wall color or your wallpaper a little bit more. And if you do a circle, go in the other direction. Okay. This is a zone where your TFL is in. Your TFL melds into your IT band. So come onto the side seam of your leg and start moving like a door on a hinge. I'm opening and closing. The ball would be the hinge point, right? And every few pulls, 3 or 4 times here, I'm going to reach down and I'm going to move the ball down the side seam of the leg a little bit. My inside leg is soft, my outside leg is firm. And if balance was an issue here, I could just hold on to the wall, or I could bring a chair here. I could use a chair. You keep going. But again, just so you kind of see it up close, pushing, pulling, working down the side seam of the leg like a pendulum, right? Getting lower every few passes. We'll be here for about 20 more seconds. And so if you're still up at the top, start to move a little bit lower. Take bigger jumps. And then a little lower. And a little lower. Great. And that is your TFL into IT band rollout at the wall. My friends who do a lot of sports with your legs, runners, walkers, hikers, like I said, or even people that think they have limited hip and twisting and cross-body ability, pay attention to this zone. It's a big one. It's an important one. like everything else. And I hope you enjoy it. If you have other things that you need rolled on, feel free to reach out to me on my website, alissayoga.com. Just go to the contact page. If you need to buy balls, you can buy balls through my website, and they'll take you right over to the tune-up site. And on my website, I kind of describe what I use each of the balls for and why I like them. There's 3 primary tools I would recommend. Cool. Have a great day. Thank you for popping in. Goodbye.